to the FVCFFVYFFLFFS episode 41. Wait, 14.
Is it really 11:30 or is it 10:30?
It's 10:30. How many times have I tell you that is an hour ahead?
I'm gonna change it.
Not right now.
It throws me off.
Oh my gosh. Ignore the second one. 10:34. Simple. So, episode 14.
I have a quick question for you.
Okay.
Who on your fantasy team do you hate the most?
I mean, there's a lot of people that I hate on my fantasy team, but clearly it is David Johnson. There is no description for the hatred that I have for David Johnson this year. I just, to wind up the season having no starting running backs is just unbelievable. To go from a guy who has been the main offense in Arizona for the last 3 years, and they just decide not even to play him. Yeah. And it sounds like from what was going on, he has no idea why. And it's just baffling, and it's just so disappointing.
And he was your first round pick?
Here's my first round pick, and it's just ridiculous.
I think the guy I hate most of my team, who actually is a top 10 at his position, is Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
He's like number 8, but he gets like single digits every week. So I don't know how he's number 8. And
he had a couple of blow-up games.
Is that what it was? 2 big games, and that's why he's so bad for overall? Because he's just been nothing. Everybody's wanting to trade for him, but they're offering me garbage for him, so I just kept him, and he's just been kind of mediocre all year. So
it's ridiculous. The other person I have equally been unhappy with Tyreek Hill, though.
Yeah.
Just because, he was injured. There's nothing you can do about that. But then since he's been back, maybe I hate Mahomes more than Hill because
he's not throwing
what are we doing? You got a player who's the fastest player in the NFL on your team, and your whole offense the last 2 years has been drop the rock to Hill and let him run, and now all of a sudden, what are you doing?
So, in the group text...
Shooting State Farm commercials with Aaron Rodgers? Well, let me let you in on a little secret. You've both sucked this year. Both of you. So get off TV, practice some football, and throw it to Tyreek Hill.
The best player on their team.
Yeah, hello? You play to win the game. You play to win the game.
This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
That's right.
Hello?
Hello? You play to win the game.
Listen to Herm Edwards. You play to win the game.
So, in the group text, tell us who on your team you hate the most, let you down the most, has just been mediocre for you, however you want to put that. So we've got 2 matchups, then we're gonna preview the playoffs next week, power rankings, so don't go too far. But our first matchup, Aaron, is
myself, Lamar the way up, versus Isaac.
You got
what?
Go ahead.
Versus Isaac Hopkins in your grave.
So these are two great team names.
Yeah, kind of a throwback to last year's little progression where everybody went with the digs in your grave after
everybody
that.
Copied me because I'm a trendsetter.
So Isaac went throwback.
But you got to say your name the right way.
Lamar the way up.
I actually like Hopkins. Okay. Hopkins in your grave.
Hopkins in. Isaac was going to go Hopkins in over your grave, but I don't think it fit in there.
Too many words.
So he had to go a different route.
Too many characters.
But anyway, I lost this week. Isaac won. I had 96.7 points. Not a terrible week when you look at some of the scores, but when you look at who I'm rolling out by the end of the year, it's just, I had to play, Benny Snell, Dallas Goedert, and Cortland Sutton. And, it's just, what are you going to do?
That's not a recipe for success.
Not a recipe for success. Surprisingly, Jackson was okay, 20 points. Devontae Freeman actually had a good week.
He showed up.
Melvin Gordon had a good week, but Tyreek Hill just,
10 points
kicked me in the crotch, along with Cortland Sutton and Dallas Goedert and Benny Snell. Here's the disappointing thing. You know what? So Benny Snell, you claim to be an NFL player, and you're playing against the worst team in the league. The Arizona Cardinals have given up points to everyone. And Benny Snell goes out and scores 2 points. 2 points. You know what? You need to give back your money for the year. Because
refund everybody their
you're
money.
supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to be a professional. And that's all I'll say about
Speaking
that.
of professional, that was very professional. But also,
So,
the Vikings defense, 13
Vikings
points for
did
you.
13 points. I mean, you would look at those scores and say you should be better, but it wasn't. And so for me, here's my first award, obviously. Followed by...
Whoops-a-daisy. Whoops-a-daisy.
So this is the Caboose Daisy Award, which is for the
It's the first time given out.
I had the lowest, well, congratulations me. I had the lowest score of all the teams who were actually playing this week.
Combined with the whoopsie-daisy.
And then I left, go figure, Robbie Anderson on the bench, who's been terrible all year. And he scores 22.5 points.
That's a lot of points.
And had I played a combination of the players who were on my bench, I would have won that game over the ones that I actually played. And that is maybe what the most disappointing thing is. Not that anybody would have predicted that I was playing Robbie Anderson and David Johnson to win the week. That would have been what I projected at the beginning of the year. And then they knocked me out of the playoffs.
Who did Robbie Anderson play? Who are the Jets playing against?
I mean, it was a decent matchup, but he's been terrible. I mean, he
That's
hasn't
true.
done anything all season until these last 3 matchups. Miami, and, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, anyway,
next
those are my
matchup.
awards.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Isaac, on the
Isaac's
other hand,
award.
his awards, he also has 2 of them. The first one... And...
Juggernaut.
the Stud Award and the Juggernaut, which makes the Stuggernaut Award, and this is the second time Isaac's gotten this. He had 128.3 total points, and he gets the stud for Aaron Jones, who scores 29.2
Aaron Jones destroyed on Sunday.
points.
He was out of
And
control.
we were watching it, and while I was happy that the Packers were doing well, I just knew that this wasn't good for my fantasy team. And DeAndre Hopkins finally...
So you're watching the Packer game, and Aaron Jones is getting points
Yes.
and points. Oh, that's horrible.
And DeAndre Hopkins finally started scoring points again. And George Kittle is showing up again. So, you know, at one point in time, Isaac was wanting to drop DeAndre Hopkins because he was
I remember
so bad.
that night.
And so, in honor of that, I believe I was the one who told you to be patient and you start
That's
your
true.
studs.
I'm a witness.
So essentially, I believe that
You should get all of his points.
I should get the win for this week because you shouldn't have had DeAndre Hopkins. So if we put a 0
And you get
in
the
that
23
spot,
from him
and I
because you
get
would
the
have picked him
23
up.
points because I'd have picked him up, I win this matchup. So
I'm giving you an honorary Juggernaut.
thank you. I appreciate it. So anyway, that's how it turned out. Isaac, however, you know, surprisingly left Raheem Mostert on his bench. And no, not surprisingly.
Nobody
But
started
Mostert
Raheem
on the bench
Mostert.
scored 20 points, which 2 weeks in a row he had good weeks. But wow,
I'm
what are
starting
you
him in
gonna
the
do with
Man's
that?
League, I think, this week.
What are you going to do with that? So anyway, that's that matchup.
Look at his
Isaac
teeth.
is the winner. Congratulations, Isaac.
Juggernaut!
Making it into the playoffs.
Final 4, which we'll talk about in a second. Are you done yet?
I am.
Okay, now back to my matchup. It is Worked by a Girl. It is Casey and Brody versus Now That's What I'm Talking About. And that is Abby. And the guys lost and Abby won. And this was 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a
that
row.
the boys lost to Abby.
Yep.
Because Abby is just dominant.
Yeah.
She likes to kick 7th graders when they're
Yeah.
not looking. She
Yeah.
likes to punch them in the head and give them noogies
Yes.
when they don't want it and they don't want to be embarrassed in front of all the other
Yeah.
guys that are around at school and church and everything like that. But it was crazy because the Twins got 123.34 points and Abby got 126.
Wow.
A difference of
That's tight.
3.34
That
points.
is tight.
3 1/3 points. So that means Casey and Brody are moving on to play for 5th, and Abby's going on to the Final Four. And for that reason, the boys losing by 3.34 points, we're giving them the...
Missed it by that much.
Yeah. Wow. That's
much.
close.
Not much.
That's close.
That is the distance of 3.34 points.
Yep, that is it.
And the reason that they lost, let's take a look at their pathetic little team here. Now, here's the thing. They started Ryan Tannehill, which was pretty gutsy. Got a ton of points.
Yeah.
Ezekiel
It's a great
Elliott,
start.
Derrick Henry, both
Look
more
at
than
those
20
first
points.
three.
That's what I'm saying. They even
Wow.
had their receivers 12 points, 16 points, Hunter Henry 10 points, but they just... Well, 49ers -2.
Yeah,
which
that hurt.
I mean, playing the Saints
You were
maybe,
gonna-
but still.
yeah,
but
that
they
hurt.
got a ton of points. 123 points. They had a
Yeah.
great week. But the problem is, they went up against Abby, who receives the... Abby is praising the Lord this week because she won by just over 3 points.
Yep.
And Deshaun Watson, 28. Joe Mixon, 27, which you can't believe. Julian Edelman, 20 points. Jared Cook, our tight end, 20 points. It was crazy.
Jared Cook, that was a big week from Jared
But this
Cook.
is what happened. She's down going into Monday Night Football.
Yep.
It is the Giants versus the Eagles. And she has her number 1 pick, right? Was Saquon
Yes,
Barkley.
that's correct.
And at one point, she was still losing while the game was going on.
Yep.
Kyle puts out a text, Abby, are you nervous? What is going on here? And I didn't know what was going on because I looked at your squad and I knew you were getting trounced, so I thought, what's the big deal? But then when I looked, it was Casey and Brody and Casey. Now here's the thing. Casey and Brody still could have won if he had fumbled. That would have been losing 2 points.
Yep.
If he had gotten tackled for a loss, you can still lose points. All different kinds of things that could have happened for him to lose. But because Saquon Barkley, her number 1 overall pick, got 8.2 points.
Yep. Massive week, 8.2 points.
Just 5 points. She was behind like 5 points.
Yeah, something like that.
That was incredible. And he got just enough for her to win. So that is why she gets the Praise the Lord award, because her team...
Your number 1 pick came through in the playoffs, Abby.
Playoffs.
Barely, but he came through.
Just remember...
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
Hello?
Hello? You play to win the game.
Speaking of winning games,
Here we go.
we're looking at next week's matchups, and we are going to start with the Final Four. And it is going to be Kyle's Why You Always Lying against Isaac Hopkinsing over your grave. I cannot pronounce these team names.
Yep.
Now,
Oh, it is Hopkinsing over your grave. You put it in there.
I did?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past me.
Okay.
So, Hopkinsing over your grave. Who do you think's going to win, Kyle or Isaac?
I think Isaac's going to win.
You know, here's the funny thing. I kind of have a sneaky feeling that Isaac may win because everything's gone topsy-turvy. Isaac got some good scores this week, so I don't really want to commit to it, but I kind of feel like that's what's going to
It
happen.
would be impressive if Isaac beat Kyle 3 times in the same year.
That would not be good. The other one is going to be the Auntie-Abby versus now Dish What I'm Talking About.
That's correct.
Which I think she's changed her name already. But who do you think's going to win, me or Abby?
And I believe that Abby is going to win.
And I believe that Abby's going to win too. She got a ton of points this week.
I want to see an Abby-Isaac final. That would be unbelievable.
That would be...
Because at our house that day, they would be watching every single matchup. It would be unbelievable. And whoever loses, it would be... I mean, if Isaac lost that to Abby, he would be so upset at that.
Well, now we're going to look at the consolation bracket, heading toward some people call the losers bracket, but still this week we have High on Fantasy Judah versus Connors on Coming In Last. Who do you think's going to win? I actually think Connor could win this game. He's been getting some
Connor
points.
could win this.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Connor as well.
Really?
I think he's been
So
on a
Connor,
tear.
if you win this week, you're not going to finish last. That
Yeah.
could be cool. And then we have Amari Christmas.
Yes.
Nelson versus Brandon Dubs. You think Nelson can beat the team who's not
Nelson's
changing the
pulling
seed?
it off.
All right, so it could be a Nelson Connor.
I would love to
final.
see a Nelson Connor final there.
And I would love to see Judah lose to Brandon for get 10th place. But
Oh, my.
next week, because these
I
two
would
are
love to
on
see
bye, Lamar the Way Up versus
Yes.
Casey and Brody
Yeah.
in 2 weeks, because you're on bye this week. Do you think you can beat the boys, or
Well,
you're going
I
to lose?
think Casey and Brody, you and I are fighting for the least desired trophy in the entire
Fifth-
league, which is
fifth
the
spot.
Mediocrity Award, which is 5th place. So I really don't care. Let's put it that way. I vote you and I start no one on our teams, and it winds up 0-0.
That's not going to happen, because those guys still have competitive pride in
That's
the team like
correct.
yours is gone.
That's correct.
I
I
think-
say Casey and Brody will beat me.
And I
next
say
week.
they will too.
All
You
right.
have to start an actual team.
Okay,
Hopefully after
I'll
a
start
week
a
you'll
team.
settle down and get a team.
I'll start a team.
Let's go to the power rankings.
Okay, here we go.
All right. Coming in at 9th in the power rankings, unfortunately, is on coming in last, Connor. I still believe he can do better than last, but how much better can he really really expect
Yeah.
from his team? Coming in at number 8 is Have a Amari Christmas.
Yeah.
It's, by the way, it's not Amari, it's Have an Amari.
Yes, have an
Christmas.
Amari Christmas.
And it's supposed to be Have Yourself Amari Christmas.
Have yourself an Amari Christmas.
So he lost some points for having A instead of and. But
Yeah.
besides that, he's already lost to Judah. So how good can his team really be? Because Judah is in 7th in the power rankings,
Yeah.
high on fantasy.
Yeah.
He's the best of the worst, I guess.
Yeah.
But we kind of picked against
Yeah.
him, and we're rooting for Connor anyways. But I could see him losing anyway.
Yes.
Coming in at number 6, Lamar the Way Up.
I take exception to that.
I think Brody and Casey are better than you.
No. I have the best team in the league.
Power
I just-
positive thinking.
Not in first.
Coming in 5th is Worked by a Girl, because the Twigs lost to Abby twice, and they are better than you, but not good enough for the Final Four, so that's why they're 5th.
Yeah.
Coming in 4th position is the anti-Abby, which is me. I don't feel good going into the playoffs, but I'm the only one left out of high school who is actually still in the playoffs. But I have a feeling I'm going to lose.
Congratulations.
Anyway. I might change my team to Worked by a Girl.
Yeah, maybe.
Coming in at number 3 is actually spelled it right. Hopkinson
Over
your
your grade. Yes.
Just
Hopkinson,
beat
over.
Aaron, but that's not hard to do.
I take exception to that.
Because coming in at number 2 is Isaac's sister. Now that's what I'm talking about, Abby. Big score this week, big win this week. I think she's got momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the problem is, coming at number 1 is the guy who's been really number 1 all year. He's been the best of the best.
Yeah.
And the championship is his for the taking. Why you always lying, Kyle, in number 1 in the power rankings again this
Yep.
week.
So there we have it.
I'm
we'll
done.
see how this plays out.
I'm out.
And I had something I was going to say, and I forgot what it was.
Was it about fantasy football?
I don't even remember.
Festivus?
Maybe.
Playoffs?
But all it means
Power
is
rankings?
that you and I are old, and it's late, and it's time for this video
It's
to be over with.
11:52.
It's 10:52, and we will see you next time.
to me
Can't believe
first.
he actually had McKissick on his bench.
But McKissick get points or just have him on his
No,
team?
he just had him because he wanted to name his team McKissick My Biker.
And he still beat you. So who's first? I forget. Hold on, I got it right here. It is Caboose. You're first.
I'm first, yeah. I think we were going me and then ending with Abby beating Casey and Brody 2 weeks in a row.
How do you say it? They're worked by a girl?
I don't understand either of those names, but
No dish what I'm talking about. I don't either.
she gives me crap about Lamar the way up. And her name is now Dash, what I'm talking about. What does that even mean? Deshaun Watson?
Maybe.
Then she should have done it. Now Dash Watt, W-A-T.
No.
I don't understand what.
Now Desh what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, that makes sense.
Whatever.
Oh, she did do it. I spelled it wrong.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry. That was my fault. I spelled it wrong.
I still don't get it.
I talked to Eric
Yeah.
last night because he came to look at one of the heaters that wasn't working at church, and he said the guys were not happy when they lost. Eric was kind of like, "Hey, you got to learn through these things." So, anyways,
my.
are you ready?
I've been disappointed too. Abby really doesn't have that great of a team. She's just
got
kind of.
126 points.
I know
123.
she's kind of cobbling it together. She hung on through the season, and it's just it's unbelievable.
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3.